And I'll give you examples. Like, I hear people say all the time, why doesn't like Meg the Stallion sue Academics? I mean, now anybody can file a lawsuit, but many lawsuits are going to be deemed frivolous. I think even her lawsuit versus Milagro, I think that's a frivolous lawsuit as well. But I think they're trying to abuse the fact that they don't believe that she has enough resources to fight back. So that's essentially silencing them. You can't really get a defamation lawsuit if somebody said they don't like you, right? But if someone spreads a lie about you and that lie is deemed or is seen hurtful, so again, I'm trying to be concise, but I know I'm long-winded. In a defamation lawsuit, if someone says something that is untrue, that damages your brand, that is said maliciously to damage your brand without any proof of said thing being true. Now, granted, if there's something that's true, it's really hard to get a defamation suit to be in your to go in your favor. Like, for example, if you're a killer and I get online saying you're a killer and you have a murder charge or you have a murder conviction, you suing me for defamation probably ain't gonna go nowhere. I'm just speaking, the truth, right? And again, even as long as I'm speaking the truth, usually there's no malicious intent. So you got to prove, is the shit that the person's saying true? Is there some malicious intent? But the hardest thing usually to prove is the damages, right? And the damages for all of these things usually is hard to quantify because, for example, like, and I'll even use my example, right? People keep saying LeBron should sue you. Well, if LeBron sues me for defamation, right? Let's go over the requirements I just said. Is it true? Did I say it maliciously? Do I have some type of malicious whatever? And then the third thing is, what damage have I caused to LeBron and his brand or whatever, right? Now, granted, if LeBron had I think textbook defamation is like you say something that is not true, then the person loses a deal, right? Like, say somebody looks at me and say, hey, weren't you accused that's talking about an accusation. You're a this, right? Like, it's like saying to Drake, you're a pedophile, and then he loses a deal, say Sprite says, we're not working with you because people have this now negative image of you, whether it's true or not, being a pedophile. You could sue over that, right? So, again, the damages are usually the hardest thing to prove. Why do I mention that? We're now seeing that these guys are such huge brands that it's easier to prove damages, especially in these particular cases, right? Like, I think this Chris Brown case, I like this case over the Drake case because Chris Brown, he could tangibly show that he's lost money from people Chat, again, I haven't streamed in a while, and I like to be really concise with y'all, but it's not happening. All right. So there was a documentary put out, right? So a production company, right, put out a documentary. A lot of people didn't hear about it, but it was a documentary that accused and was trying to do what they did to R. Kelly when they did Surviving R. Kelly. Keep in mind, I believe it came out after Diddy got arrested, and we all knew that what kind of preemptively jumped everything into motion with R. Kelly was that documentary. Once Diddy got, clipped, I think that was an attempt in the timing and the release of it to possibly have something like that happen to Chris Brown. I'm going to be honest with you. I think a lot of people these days, they either like Chris Brown or they've seen him go through so much trials and tribulation, and they know, number one, he's paid his debt to society. He got incarcerated. He admitted what he did wrong. He took accountability. Looks like he's made some effort to try to get better. And I don't think people, and I'm talking about just regular people, I don't think regular people just hold that against him, right? However, it is held against him, it appears, when we talk about opportunities. he's often talked about, yo, they don't want him to perform at award shows. They don't want him to blah, blah, blah. They have taken him off certain shit. So they dropped this documentary, and this documentary clearly it didn't have any substance to it. That's another reason why I didn't go. It brought up certain people making accusations, but none of them really held any water. So it was just a bunch of people just saying, yo, he did this, he did that, but there wasn't much really there. You get what I'm saying? Now, we could read through this a little bit, but essentially they were promoting that this nigga is like a goddamn abuser, right? Now, the reason why Chris Brown's filing this lawsuit, and the reason why I do like this lawsuit, is that this lawsuit is going to be going directly at the publishers of this documentary, because this documentary essentially put out a bunch of unproven facts and possible lies that definitely has, maybe not in the mind of people, affected Chris Brown's legacy, career, or whatever in terms of what a fan would think. But most likely, if there were companies that were finally getting past the 2009 incident, I believe it was 2009, where him and Rihanna got into it, this kind of brought it back up, and I'm pretty sure he lost out on opportunities business-wise, and I'm pretty sure that could be proven through whether emails with his agents, conversations, or business deals that were on the table that got removed. So that's why he's filing this $500 million defamation suit. Again, I'm comparing it slightly to the Drake thing because I think Drake would have a good case if two things, right? If Kendrick was just tweeting, if Kendrick was a streamer, I think there'll be a great case. I think Drake's case isn't as good because once you start to introduce art, you open up a can of worms that I don't even think you're ready and willing to deal with, right? Again, usually art in certain sense is a protected form of speech that, it's not meant as really just declaratory statements. It's meant as kind of expression. So if Kendrick had just like tweeted it and he sued him, I would completely think that Drake would be probably going to win that, right? Because it's music, that's why I'm like, Then the second thing is, I think that Drake's lawsuit, I don't really like it because he not suing the nigga who said the shit. If you're gonna sue, you gotta include everybody. You should put the engineer, Mustard should be getting sued, okay? Mustard on the lawsuit, okay? That's what really should be happening. Mustard should have got sued. Kendrick should have got sued. Now, again, I don't like the suing for music, right? And I still think that's not going to pass. But that's where I'm seeing the differences between this Chris Brown lawsuit and the Drake lawsuit. The Drake lawsuit, I think Drake was trying to keep his cool and be like, all right, I'm trying to keep his cool in rap, which about to completely backfire. I'm not suing Kendrick, I'm suing UMG and hoping that people would be able to differentiate the difference and kind of root for him. Instead, everybody just said, yo, this is weak, right? Chris Brown's lawsuit, I think, is very well put together, and also the basis of his lawsuit covers all grounds. Hey, I'm going to sue the production company, okay? I'm going to sue Warner Brothers Discovery. I'm going to sue even Apple for having this being available and publicizing it and promoting it when these type of, as they call it, sensationalized, unfounded, and defamatory allegations ended up hurting his career. And again, where's the proof, right? Now, by the way, the next thing we're going to get into, and we're going to get into after this topic, is Diddy doing the same thing. So we're now seeing like these entertainers basically almost try to keep what they got going on, and they're filing lawsuits back, right? Now, the Diddy stuff I'm going to talk about because that kind of goes a little bit in a different lane. So let's stick with the Chris Brown stuff, okay? All right. So, again, the the documentary or whatever, the docuseries or whatever it was, I think it was a documentary, right? Chris Brown, A History of Violence, right? So let's just read through this. And by the way, this is a Billboard article. So it said Chris Brown filed a lawsuit. Hold on. Against Warner Brothers Discovery, alleging the media giant had defamed him with the 2024 ID Network documentary claiming that the R&B star had a long history of sexually abusing women, right? It was filed in Superior Court, and the complaint accuses Warner Brothers Discovery and Ample Entertainment, this is a production company, they were the production company behind this thing, of promoting and publishing false information in the pursuit of likes, clicks, downloads, and dollars to the detriment of the R&B star, all while knowing it was all full of lies, deception, and violating basic journalistic principles. They did so after being provided proof that their information was false, their storytelling, ooh, this is actually good. They did so after being provided proof that their information was false and their storytelling. Jane Doe had not only been discredited over and over, but was in fact a perpetrator of intimate partners' violence and aggressor herself, reads the lawsuit, which was filed by attorney. Okay. Mr. Brown has never been found guilty of any sex-related crime, but his documentary states in every available fashion that he's a serial rapist and a sexual abuser. The Jane Doe, who made sexual assault accusations against Brown in the documentary, whom he identifies in the lawsuit, is also named as a defendant in his complaint, which alleges the woman completely disregarded the facts in the attempt for fame and fortune, all at the cost of Chris Brown and the reputation he has worked so diligently in redeeming over the last decade. The sensationalized, unfounded, defamatory allegations in the documentary have been discredited, dismissed by the courts, and outright fabricated. Now, this is going to be very interesting. I'm going to bring a few things into this because I like to have like an expansive discussion. So, here's the thing about certain allegations. Like the allegations of somebody being a criminal is a very serious allegation, right? Now, clearly, when you accuse someone of being a pedophile, of being a rapist, these things, especially a rapist, that actually holds the weight to where that is a crime, right? That's a crime in the first degree in every state. If you say that and this person has been either acquitted in a court of law or somehow been vindicated, by definition, you are defaming that person and you're probably engaged in some type of slander or libel. Okay? Now, here's an interesting case that we should look at to make this make sense, right? So, and by the way, we get it. The whole Me Too era thing, we get it. But you just coming out and just be like, yo, this nigga is a rapist. Okay? Now, granted, if you're a fan, nobody's going to sue a fan, right? But if you have a name, if you have something to lose, if you have a brand, this is a huge deal. So, my boy Trumpito, so I call Big 47. Shout out to my man. Trump actually won a defamation lawsuit. Actually was settled. Okay? So, I don't know if you heard about this. So, everybody knows, well, not everybody knows, and I'll go through it. Okay. Here we go. No. It's ABC. It's ABC. Yeah. Okay. So ABC settled a defamation lawsuit with Trump for $15 million, right? Why did they settle with Donald Trump? Now, it's a very fine line, and these are actually credible journalists that made this mistake. So look, ABC paid $50 million to Trump in his defamation suit against the network and against specifically anchor George Stephanopoulos, okay? The settlement was filed publicly and revealed that the network is going to pay $1 million to Trump's attorneys, and they'll issue an apology. Now, this is why they did this whole thing happen. They'll issue this following statement as an editor note. Says ABC News and George Stephanopoulos regret statements regarding President Donald J. Trump made during an interview by George Stephanopoulos with Rep. Nancy Mace on the show on March 10th. So, I'm trying to give you the short of it. So Trump filed the lawsuit, and it basically said that ABC's journalists defamed him when the anchor said 10 times. And now you got to remember, damages are a little bit easier proven because this person has a platform. ABC's a huge network, and this guy's a journalist. So the anchor said 10 times during a on-air interview with a GOP rep, Nancy Mace, that a jury had found that Trump raped a woman, right? Now, the woman had alleged that Trump raped her in a department store in the mid-1990s and that he defamed her, right, when he denied her claim. Trump has denied her. Okay. So in 2023, a jury found that Trump, and this is really interesting. So in 2023, the jury found that Trump sexually abused the woman, sufficient to hold him liable for battery, but it found that though it did not find that Carol proved he raped her. Now, this is the finest of line. They're saying that he sexually abused her, but he did not rape her. That's what was found in, and by the way, this was all in a civil proceeding, right? Because Trump was never criminally charged or even litigated with these facts or these allegations. So Trump lost that lawsuit, but in the lawsuit that this journalist kept referring to, right? So basically, this journalist, George Stephanopoulos, he kept saying Trump raped this girl, right? He says, and he was pointing to this case. He said, according to the 2023 case, Trump raped the woman. Now, again, the jury found that Trump sexually abused her, but it did not find that Trump raped her. So this journalist is misquoting what actually happened in a civil proceeding. Now, we all know, and I was going to say R word, but if it gets flagged on YouTube, it is what it is. We all know rape is just like, it just jumps off the fucking page, right? So it's not really an easy case, but the journalist was wrong, right? And again, rather than going to, trial, they basically awarded or came to a settlement to pay Donald Trump $15 million, all because during one interview 10 times, a journalist for ABC News essentially misquoted what actually happened during a civil trial. The jury found Trump sexually abused the person, not rape. So calling him a rapist means you're lying, and then the damages are easily proven. And also, if we want to talk about maliciousness, ABC and that particular journalist, they lean towards the other aisle. So that could have not only affected Trump and his businesses, also his ability to run for president again. So they just paid the man, okay? $15 million. Now, I had to go with that sidestep to kind of show you how very thin the line is between sometimes talking about what you're alleging versus saying something that's declaratory, where you're saying this person is this, right? If the journalist has said, well, Trump was accused of this, right? He's probably good, right? However, this person was saying Trump has been proven to be this. And that's where he fucked up, right? So as we get back to this Chris Brown lawsuit, what's probably going to be really important is in this documentary, while this woman is laying out her claims, that's not illegal, right? Or not necessarily legal, but that wouldn't be considered, well, let me not speak for that, because who knows? But her making accusations versus how the documentary took place and how they probably serve up these accusations could be on its face defamatory. But again, I kind of skimmed over the documentary. The shit was whack. I don't know if there's anything, and we got to see what specifically they're saying that these people said that's definitely defamatory. Okay. So, again, we show how thin the line is in terms of if you're a company that's making these allegations against someone, especially that someone's a sexual abuser, a serial rapist, right? Look, like you want to call somebody a serial rapist, you better got some proof, right? All right. Okay. Here we go. So the lawsuit further alleges that the Jane Doe filed a frivolous civil lawsuit against Brown in 2022, in which he accused him of sexual battery and assault, but that her claims were determined to be entirely fabricated, leading to the withdrawal of her attorneys and the dismissal of the case. That same August, after a Miami police detective uncovered text messages that exposed her dishonesty. Now, I remember this. Chris Brown accuser text messages. So there were text messages. So this woman was saying that Chris Brown sexually assaulted her. People were taking it serious for a bit until we saw this. And Chris said, "No more dragging me through the mud." Hold on, let me just wait for this to go. And he posted the messages. Apparently a detective got it. I don't know how Chris got it, but Chris posted them to show that this woman had no credibility and it was lying. You get what I'm saying? Here we go. So it says, "No more dragging me through the mud. Clearly you could see all the cap. Now let's see if the media will keep the same energy they had trying to destroy me." Now, granted, again, this is what I'm saying. Chris got a great case. Obviously, he's not suing necessarily over this, but this is all lead up to platforming this woman later, right? Like, this woman has been proven to be not that credible. Anyway, to run the real story, me and my team are taking legal action, which clearly he is now, on the situation. You don't play with people's lives like that. Thanks, Team Breezy. Now, listen to this.
What time is it? Put the time and date.
Well, you're giving me mixed signals. You're like reading my messages and stuff, and you haven't blocked me yet, so I'm guessing you don't hate me. I just want to see you again. I mean, just answer the phone and then you just hung up. Like, just let me know. Like, if you want me to leave you alone, I definitely will. But I really just want to.
Okay. Now, so another one of the text messages, I wanted to show you the full text, but okay. It says, there was a timestamp where she says, "You know full and well I wasn't pressing you about no dick. You told me to stay, then you gonna try to play me? Nah, that's crazy. I don't deserve it, but you got it." Even if you hear this video or this like audio message mixed with this text message of her saying, "Yo, you know," like she's trying to fuck the nigga. You get what I'm saying? Hold on, let me see if I could. All right. Here they were, right? Okay. Rolling Stones. Okay, baby. Okay, got it. Perfect. What the fuck? Okay. So I think this is her. I don't like talking on phones or shit like that. I'm just being proactive. Okay, I'll get one. So I didn't. Oh, I guess this is Chris Brown. I definitely didn't bust inside you. Niggas was just hella faded, so I wanted to be sure. Okay, babe, that's fine. I want to fuck you tonight at midnight. Where you at, babe? Then there was another one. There was, "Yup, where you at? Home. I live in Hollywood. Word. Let's link later today. Your place or mine? Mine, probably." That's what, I guess this is Chris Brown. LOL bet. You got E? So she's asking for drugs, right? And we all know the cocktail pause, no pun intended, of what we see in all these accusations is usually women who are saying, I just randomly just showed up at this guy's crib and he just starts feeding me drugs and then he just viciously raped me. So her claims kind of look crazy when you're asking for drugs and you're asking for dick. Goddamn. She said, you got E, I didn't get to take it the last time we met. And said, nah, they was my homies. I don't be getting lit unless my homies got it. And then she says, okay, I guess we chill tonight? He says, I'll try to find some. What are you doing? What's up? I just had some shit to handle yesterday. Where you at right now? Why, what's up? I wanted to come over. I'm bored. Make some time for me tonight. Sorry, fell asleep. And no, I'm on my period, shaking my head. And I have a question. Do you just be wanting to fuck me? Or can we hang out like on some chill shit during the day? You know what this is, man. This is a sneaky link, late night ting. You know what I mean? This is one of them joints that you just, come on, you know what time it is, right? All right. You just want to fuck. I just want to know my role. If you asking that question, you know your goddamn role, okay? Okay, never mind. Okay, there was some more messages too. Then she sent this message. Missing you. You were honestly the best dick I ever had. I just be wanting again. Why are you playing with me? You know full well I wasn't pressing you about no dick. You told me to stay. Essentially, you kind of get like the whole drift, man. Like this is a bird, right? Cool. So essentially, after she made that claim, the police quickly realized, yo, shorty, you're begging for cock. Like, what's going on with you? You get what I'm saying? And they essentially dropped their investigation. They're like, yo, this is going nowhere fast. I think she files a lawsuit, and then when she files a lawsuit, a lawyer, money-hungry lawyer's gonna be like, we're suing Chris Brown, let's go. Then they kind of look into it, they were like, it's kind of bullshit too. Her lawyers kind of fall back and fall out of this situation. And then obviously, it's a sloppy case. It got dismissed. You get what I'm saying? Okay, cool. All right. So despite all that, right? The documentary still portrayed this woman as credible and ignoring her lack of veracity, which is truthfulness. Later in the complaint, Brown's attorney breaks down Jane Doe's alleged history of violence and erratic behavior, so they did a little bit of research on her. That should have raised red flags for any responsible journalist. The suit includes... So essentially, they're basically saying, yo, Warner Brothers, you guys, there was public information out there that this woman has lied on me, has not been truthful, and has made a erroneous claim that the police don't take serious, and even in a civil court they couldn't take serious. Yet you put her on a documentary to repeat these things, knowing that it would have all type of career harm and do irreparable damage to me, and you made millions off of it. And while you made millions, I lost millions. So now I'm suing you for $500 million. That's essentially what this is, right? And I think this is an amazing goddamn lawsuit because I think this might work, right? I think Warner Brothers might settle. The suit includes a copy of the alleged restraining order filed against Doe by an ex-boyfriend. Ooh, they did some homework on her. So the boyfriend, I guess her ex-boyfriend filed a restraining order on her, which kind of shows that this is a woman who probably, has been the actual violent person. At least more recent than Chris Brown. And it says after she physically assaulted him, threatened him with a knife, and engaged in online harassment. So this is going to be very important in kind of like showing that this woman has a particular pattern of either not telling the truth or engaging in activity that, yeah. These incidents detailed in court records and leading to her arrest. Ooh, she got arrested. All right. By LAPD were disregarded by the defendants, who instead framed her as a reliable source to bolster their sensationalized portrayal instead of the physical aggressor in a romantic relationship. Key to the lawsuit is the accusation that the companies behind the documentary moved forward with its release even though they allegedly knew it contained false claims and violated journalist professional standards, claimed Chris Brown's lawyer. Several individuals who appear to be talking heads in the documentary are also named in a lawsuit. See, that's also, I should pull up the lawsuit. Fuck. It would take me like about 5 minutes for me to do. That's another thing too. I do want to put this out there to a lot of creators, right? Because by the way, they reached out to me. For example, Law and Crimes, they're doing documentary. TMZ, they're doing documentaries. They come out on Peacock, Tubi, all these type of things, and they're competing in that documentary market that go up on like some of these apps. And they always ask me, "Yo, do you want to be in the Meg the Stallion, Tory Lanez?" And I say, "No, I don't want to be in it." You get what I'm saying? And the reason why I don't is because even though I'm a person who I give my opinion a lot of times when you're in a documentary, there's a overall theme and agenda, right? Like for example, if you could be an R. Kelly supporter if you're in a documentary called Surviving R. Kelly. Everything you say is being framed as R. Kelly's a monster. Not saying he is or he isn't. Similarly, that's why I was confused when I seen Diddy's lawyer in that Diddy lawyer in the TMZ documentary, right? And that was called The Downfall of Diddy. Like I wouldn't want my lawyer representing me to be in a documentary that is being framed as my downfall, right? If anything, I would want my lawyer to be involved in a documentary that was being made about me that would be called, yeah, The Framing of Academics, The Lies Against Academics, not the.
So Chris Brown is suing Apple Music for 500 M's. Is he gonna get 500 M's? Probably not. Is it smart to sue these major things like Apple Music? No, it is not, because that's like one of the biggest streaming services, and they could ruin it for him. I'm not gonna lie, they really could ruin it for him. They're gonna stop recommending him. They're gonna take him out of playlists. The streaming is gonna start going down. I mean, Spotify is still there, but come on, bro. But I mean, it's a crazy world, bro. Like, I don't know too much about this whole Chris Brown situation. I'm assuming that they probably put Rihanna in there and a bunch of other females. Feel me? You really only hear crazy stuff about Chris Brown and drugs and women. Really, really, for real, for real. So I'm guessing it's that in the documentary. But let me know how you guys feel about everything in the comments below. Do you think Chris Brown should have sued Apple Music? I don't think he should have, because it's gonna hinder his career. I mean, if he could win the lawsuit and somehow, even if he doesn't get 500, if he could get like 30, 40, or 50 M's, which he probably won't get, but if he does, that's a W, bro. So just got to wait and see what happens.